Oompa Loompa podcasting cheer. Michael and Megan are drawing near. Steven's away, but Megan's in play. The Wonka movies are topic today. Grab your headphones, get comfy and snug as we dive into a world of candy and hugs. Theme music incoming, excitement on cue. Two geeks in a microphone, bringing joy to you. Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
You talk first. I talk first.
Well, I guess I'll talk first since Steven is not here. Steven is away with his lovely wife, and they are in Hawaii right now, hopefully enjoying the sun. I have no idea what time it is in Hawaii. So, Steven, if you're watching, hello, have a good time. We'll see you next week. Until then, hello, all you geeks out there in Geekdom land. So we have sitting in for Steven, Megan, and today's topic was Megan's idea, actually. We decided to do the Wonka movie. Wonka is one of her childhood favorites. Actually, Willy Wonka, the original Willy Wonka, is one of my childhood favorites, too. The original Willy Wonka, I remember it as being kind of a yearly event, kind of like The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz was only shown on television once a year. That was back in the days of, you had to watch TV as it was scheduled. You couldn't just watch it anytime, anywhere like we can today. But Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original one with Gene Wilder, that was kind of a yearly event for my family, and we enjoyed that movie. It was good. Although I did think Wonka was a little bit insane, a little demented at times. And we'll get into that and talk about comparing the new version of Wonka, the younger Wonka, in opposed to the Gene Wilder version of Wonka. And we probably won't talk much about
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp Wonka. we might get into a little bit of that discussion. I don't know. Johnny Depp did a strange version.
There's reasons for that.
There's reasons that it was strange. Well, yeah, it's Johnny Depp.
No, there's other reasons.
Come on, Johnny Depp is weird. He always was weird. And that wasn't a Tim Burton film, though, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was? Yeah, that's another reason. Tim Burton's kind of weird, too. Although he is the director of my favorite Batman film. So, all right. Well, we'll jump into the geeky news because I do have one thing. Well, technically, I have two things for the geeky news. So let's jump into that. All right, here I'm trying to get my bingo. Okay. Unfortunately, we have to recognize the fact that we lost a great actor this past week. Carl Weathers passed away at the age of 72. I think it was 72. Carl Weathers is known mostly for his portrayal of Apollo Creed in Rocky, which Rocky is one of my all-time favorite film franchises. I love 1 through 4, hate 5, and then love Rocky Balboa. Don't watch 5. 5 sucks. But anyway, he does an amazing job as Apollo Creed. Very charismatic boxer. He's the champ, and he takes on Rocky. Rocky is invited to take him on, and and Rocky gives Apollo quite the fight that Apollo didn't expect, and it's a great American classic. If you've never watched the Rocky series, you should watch it. Next, he's known as Dylan in the movie The Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator was an amazing movie. The first one is the best of them all for sure, and Carl Weathers was amazing in that film, as he always is. He kind of, with those two films, he kind of solidified his acting career as a action star. However, he has made some other movies. He was also known for being in Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore, so he got his comedy chops in that, and he's done many other things. But then the most recent stuff he did, of course, was Grief Karga, Star Wars: The Mandalorian, which I thought he was excellent in that. I was really happy to see him in that film, or I mean in that show. He was great, and he got to direct 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. So we will definitely miss Carl Weathers. He was a great actor. Okay, and moving on. So in our other the rest of our geeky news, next week is Star Wars Podcasting Day week. February 7th is the actual day for Star Wars Podcast Day. For those of you who do not know, Star Wars Podcast Day is celebrating 25 years in Star Wars podcasting. It's recognizing the very first Star Wars podcast, which was Jedi Talks, which premiered February 7th of 1999. I didn't even know there was podcasting in 1999. That's funny. I didn't really get into listening to podcasts until about 2004, 2005, when I got my first iPod. That's when I really started listening to podcasts and getting into them. And then, of course, I found my favorite Star Wars podcast, which is, well, it's now Rebel Force Radio. Back then it was, yeah. Oh my gosh. It finally fell out of my brain, the name of the original podcast. Anyway, what?
I said I don't remember it either.
Yeah, I can't remember it. That's so weird. Anyway, but it's Rebel Force Radio with Jimmy Mack and Jason Swank, who I've had both of those guys on the podcast before. Great guys. But anyway, so this is celebrating all of Star Wars podcasting. Now, we are not a Star Wars only. Obviously, we're doing Wonka today, but that is like my first true geek love is Star Wars. So we do a lot of Star Wars content, and we have been involved with Star Wars Podcast Day since we started podcasting, which was also the first year that they started the Star Wars Podcast Day. So we are continuing that, and our episode will actually be next Saturday, which will be February 10th. And Stephen and I will be doing another What If story, and it will be fueled by AI, of course. So we'll be prompting AI, and the premise of our story is, what if Qui-Gon Jinn had survived in episode 1, The Phantom Menace, had he not died at the hands of Darth Maul? So we'll explore those ideas and see where we go with that. The exciting thing is Star Wars is rumored to be doing a What If series. So there's a possibility we could even see this story happen on the small screen, which I think would be awesome. I don't know if they'll do that in animation, if they'll do it live action, or how they'll do it. I would assume they do it in animation, just like Marvel does their What If series in animation, which I'm fine with. That'll be great because they could explore some amazing stories that way. And, okay, so they wouldn't be canon, but hey, we get to explore these different ideas, and I love it. Awesome. All right, that's all I got for the geeky news. Megan, you got some geekdar?
I do.
Okay, let me do the geekdar.
Throw with the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. That's not all he's lost.
All right. I'll let you go first since you are sitting in for Steven, and then I do have a geek dart too, but I'll let you go first.
I kind of have two things.
Okay. I got two things too, so
Oh,
it's like our show and tell.
yeah. First of all, going with the theme, they have
Nice.
for the new movie, and of course, I had to buy Willy Wonka. The ones that they have are Willy Wonka, Noodle, Prodnose, and Slugworth.
Nice. No Oompa Loompa?
No. I would assume that if they do a second run,
I
of
figured they
Pops,
would
that
put
they would have it.
the Oompa Loompas right with Willy Wonka. That's crazy.
Yeah, you would think that they would do the Oompa Loompa instead of Prodnose.
I mean, he's pretty important to the film.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But so my obsession with Pops.
Now, do you have any other Wonka Pops? Is there
I
like,
do not. I don't think there's any of the original or the.
I wonder if now, since the movie's out and everything, I think it's done pretty well
a
too.
Gene Wilder one.
That'd be cool. Then you can put them next to each other.
Oh yeah.
And we do have stands for the
I have Harley.
yeah, they don't sponsor us or anything, but Superhero DIY is where you go to get these awesome stands.
Who I found through TikTok.
Yeah. And they
They have a whole bunch of different.
yeah, they got different sizes, and then they've also got other things on their website. You can get more than just geeky stands and stuff. You can
All kinds of collectible.
well, they even
hanging.
got like coffee things too, stuff for K cups and like to hold K cups and everything. They got all kinds of things. It's a pretty neat site. If you're into collecting and stuff, it's a good place to say. They got some cool stands for Hot Wheels, some display stands and things to be able to put it on your wall and stuff like that too.
But the other thing I wanted to talk about is going back to my Geek Door with the comics, which I will show again. Because I wanted to mention, even though I haven't gotten it signed yet.
Oh yeah, you had to talk about that.
The artist that does it for specifically the Silver Void, Void Silver, which is Marvin.
Now, she do the cover art or she do the interior art?
I don't know. I think she did the interior.
Because sometimes
I'm not sure.
sometimes the cover art is done by a different artist than what the interior is done.
I think she did the interior.
Okay.
But it looks almost the same.
Maybe she did both. I don't know.
Maybe. But I know that there's it seems to be two different main artists for the two characters, being Marvin and then Jackie being the other one, which both of their issue 0 are in both of these. But she works at Fantasy, our local comic book store that we talk about a lot.
Now she works at the
She works at the
O'Fallon one.
Fairview.
Fairview? Yeah,
O'Fallon,
Fairview.
whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Technically she only fills in now, but we did find her, and because they actually have it in the store now, and I got super excited about that. And when I went to check out to buy the pop, I was like, so the Ultraverse comics, and she perked up and she was like, yeah.
Well, now she was kind of disguised too.
Yeah.
For some reason, all the girls there that day were wearing fake beards. I have no idea what was. I don't know if it was Beard Day or what.
But I also had never really actually seen her face.
Right, but it was funny because she was kind of disguised too.
But she perked up and she was like, yeah. And I was like, are you guys getting the full run? Because I see you have the issue 0s. And she's like, oh yeah. And she's like, I'm working on the first issue right now. And I'm like, oh, you're the artist. I'm like, hi.
But unfortunately, you didn't have your copies with you.
No, I didn't.
So yeah.
So we have to go back.
You could have bought extra copies, and then you could have had her signed
the foil
them.
edition.
Yeah, you should have done that, and then she could have signed that, and then you got your others that you could read. So Have you read them? Or you like me? You buy comics and don't read them.
I actually haven't read through those.
In other words, you like me. You buy comics and don't read them.
The only reason I haven't read them, technically, I haven't read the physical copies because, so they shipped out on my birthday, and I was in Canada, and
the land of rush.
So I was in Canada when they arrived, and I was upset about that. And then they also had them digitally, so I went and spent the $5 to get digitally, so I could actually read it. So I have read it.
You bought the physical. They should give you the digital for free. I hate that.
That's what I said.
Marvel does that.
Especially since I bought 2.
Yeah, right. If you buy Marvel comics, they actually give you a free digital copy. There's a code inside the issue, so you can download the digital version of it too. I think any comic book is if you buy the physical.
If you have a digital version, it should be
right
unanimous.
Now, if you buy a digital alone, you shouldn't get the physical. I wouldn't agree to, but. Oh, what was this? Sage Page says, "Come with me, and you'll be happy to see Mike and Megan as they talk about Wonka for the whole geeky nation." Oh, I love it. You did good, Sage. I like it. That's awesome. All right, so that's your Geek Door?
Yep.
All right. So my Geek Door is comic books also. The first one is the alternate story from the Death in the Family, the Batman Death in the Family, which was 1988. Yes, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Anyway, so in the Death in the Family, Robin, the Jason Todd Robin, he was killed by the Joker, and DC Comics actually put out a 1-900 number that if you called, you could vote on whether Robin lived or died. And I voted for him to die because I didn't like Jason Todd. But DC finally released the alternate. Here, Megan, you show it because he's got green on. So they finally released the alternate story of if Robin had actually lived. So I saw that the other day, the same day Megan saw her comics at Fantasy, and I freaked out, and I'm like, oh, I got to get that. That's awesome. So it is the alternate ending of whether Robin lives or not. In this version, he lives. So haven't read it yet. Kind of flipped through it, and it looks great. And then I have a second one. Megan, you'll have to show this one too because it's green. So the second one is a reprint or a facsimile of, that's hard to see. But anyway, facsimile of a very classic Flash comic, Flash issue, and it's from 1960 something. I had it. I had looked this up, but I forgot what year it was. It was 1960 something though, and it's the first time that Barry Allen and Jay Garrick meet, and the universes actually cross. The really cool thing about this comic was they actually recreated the cover for a promo for the Flash TV series for the first time they had Jay Garrick in the Flash television series, which was really neat. And I love that cover. And then I saw that they had the foil edition, and I just drooled over the foil edition. So I had to get that, I mean, not literally drooled on it, but because I think they would have made me purchase it if I would have done that. But yeah, so that's my Geek Dar for the day. Really good comics. Both of them facsimiles, but hey, the classics are the best, right? At least in my opinion. All right. We ready to geek out about some Willy Wonka? Oompa loompa doopity doo. I got a Wonka episode for you. I'm about Oompa Loompa out, so that's all I know. All right, let's move on to the main event, shall we?
It's time for the main event.
All right. So I thought I'd start off with a little bit from the original film. I was just going to read through the storyline of the original film and give you some fun facts about it, and then read the storyline for the new film. So the original film, the world is astonished when Willy Wonka, for years a recluse in his own factory, announces that 5 lucky people will be given a tour of the factory, shown the secrets of his amazing candy, and one will win a lifetime supply of Wonka chocolate. Nobody wants the prize more than young Charlie, but as his family is so poor that buying even 1 bar of chocolate is a treat, buying enough bars to find one of the 5 golden tickets is unlikely and in the extreme. But in movie land, magic can happen. Charlie, along with 4 others, somewhat odious other children, get the chance of a lifetime and a tour of the factory. Along the way, mild disasters befall each of the odious children, but can Charlie beat the odds and grab the brass ring? And here's some fun trivia on the original film. In the DVD commentary, Peter Ostrom mentions that towards the end of the shoot, with him being the only kid left, he and Gene Wilder often ate lunch together. Fittingly, they finished those lunches by sharing a chocolate bar for dessert as they walked back to the set. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Goofs. When Wonka first allows the children into the chocolate room, he makes an umbrella by sticking the bottom of his cane into the mushroom top and then holding the cane upside down. As he twirls the umbrella, you can see the stab holes in the styrofoam bottom from prior takes. I'm going to have to rewatch it and look for that. That's funny. Let's see. Crazy credits at the time. At the same time as the end credits are playing, the film shows the Wonka Vader rising higher and higher. Yeah, okay. And then alternate versions. I found this interesting. So the 1971 German version was cut down to 89 minutes, deleting the complete boat scene from the entering the tunnel till arriving, and several other scenes that might not be suitable for younger viewers. It was rated. Yeah, well, it's kind of a demented and creepy scene.
It's creepy, but it's one of my favorite scenes.
You know, I always think of like old style haunted houses when that scene comes on. That's what it reminds me of. Or like a Six Flags, you know, like the Six Flags Scooby-Doo ride, or you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, there is now a complete version available with the re-entered scenes and subtitles. I would hope so by now. So that was some facts on the original Willy Wonka. And here's the storyline of the new one. With dreams of opening a shop in a city renowned for its chocolate, a young and poor Willy Wonka discovers that the industry is run by a cartel of greedy chocolatiers, which describes it pretty well. So in this one, though, the trivia, this is great. So Hugh Grant plays the Oompa Loompa. We only see one Oompa Loompa. Well, actually,
technically, we see a bunch.
Yeah, we do see a bunch of them at one point, don't we? We'll get into that too. But anyway, Hugh Grant plays the Oompa Loompa, and he said that Paul King sent him, the director Paul King, sent him a mock-up of an Oompa Loompa stark naked, and he says, "My children were a little alarmed at that." King added, "It was one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life. If it ever leaks out, a generation of children will be scarred." So apparently he got a naked version of the Oompa Loompa. Yeah. I don't know if I want to see that. I wonder if it's going to be in the extras on the movie.
I really doubt it.
Anyway, goofs. In the first musical number with the Chocolatiers are seen starting to float as they do. Prodnose Prodnose loses his toupee, but in a subsequent scene in this number, as he's floating, it is still in place. This is because they start to float. One of the bystanders can be seen throwing it back to Prodnose. He puts it back on between shots, which is why it is on backwards in later shots. Something else we'll have to look for. That's funny. Let's see. Quotes. May I present Willy Wonka's wild and wonderful wishy-washy Wonka Walker. Please don't make me say that again. That's a good quote. I like that one. And for crazy end credits, the end credits feature one more Oompa Loompa song summarizing what happened to several main characters at the film's end, followed by one more short scene with Mrs. Scrubbit and Bleacher. And that's pretty much all I got for all that. So, shall we do our breakdown and our spoiler-free breakdown and review? First of all, what are we doing for a scale on this one? Because we always pick some kind of scale, something usually from the movie. I'll let you pick that because you're a big fan of this film. So,
I do like Mom's. Mom had an idea.
Yeah, she said as she was walking out. We already know what the scale is.
Yeah, she told me last night.
Okay, go ahead.
The hover chocolates.
Hover chocolates.
Because it seems to be the most important piece of candy that we saw in the film.
Yep. And the funny thing is, in the original film, it's Fizzy Lifts.
Yeah.
So they changed that. I guess he improved on it, or well, I guess it
might be a different. It's a different.
Yeah, it's a different candy.
Thing.
It's not chocolate. It's
soda. Right,
it's soda. So, I'd like a Fizzy Lift. I think that'd be neat. What happens if you drink a Fizzy Lift and what was the new one?
Hover chocolate.
Hover chocolate, and eat a hover chocolate. Do you go into space? Anyway,
I mean, that was the original problem with the fizzy lifting drink.
Yeah, I guess. Wow. So yeah, if you ate the chocolate, drank the drink, yeah, you're doomed. You're gonna go into space and burn up. So better put a spacesuit on if you eat and drink both of them, I guess. All right, so I'll start with mine. Okay, so again, I'm a big fan of the original film. Gene Wilder is a freaking genius. Love just about everything I've ever seen Gene Wilder in. And he's famous for being in Mel Brooks films, and I love Mel Brooks films. So the original really, really is close to my heart. I really enjoy the original. It's a great movie, great songs, just very memorable. Then we had the remake with right. We had the remake with Johnny Depp, and I don't know. It's just so weird. It's a strange movie.
I adore Johnny Depp. I love majority of his movies that I've seen. However, for the life of me, I cannot stand him as Willy Wonka.
But now the Oompa Loompa was good, and that was well, it's only one person that plays him. Who was the Oompa Loompa? Let's see. That one's called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So they actually named that one after the original film, or after the book. I mean, I'm sorry,
because the book is actually called.
Here you go, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Let's look for cast.
Deep Roy.
Deep Roy, that's it. Yeah, Deep Roy. I like him. He's great.
I do like his Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, his Oompa Loompas were terrific. I love those.
So the reason that Johnny Depp's version of Wonka is like that is because it's more based off the book, which I've never actually read the book.
I have never either, so I don't know if I care. I'm sorry. I know Charlie and Willy Wonka from the original film.
I don't
and
think I can read the book.
well, I guess if it's too much like his version of the movie,
Yeah, because mine's always been Gene Wilder.
yeah. Gene Wilder's just, like I said, he's a comedy genius. It's hard to top Gene Wilder. It really is. Johnny Depp's something else, but man, yeah, he's not Gene Wilder. Sorry. Sorry, Johnny.
If I had, I don't know, if I had read the book and if that would have been my first introduction to it, I guess maybe. But I grew up with Gene Wilder.
Right. Agreed.
And I don't know when I think when it kind of became my absolute top favorite.
I don't know.
It just,
I don't even know how that, because it's not like we didn't continue that tradition of, we got to watch it every year and stuff. And
I feel like Johnny Depp's version coming out put my obsession for Gene Wilder's into action.
Made you want to watch the Gene Wilder version more after seeing Johnny Depp's version. You do have both copies.
I do own both.
Yep.
I have the original in the best form in the
with the
it's a
Wonka bar wrapper. That's pretty cool.
You open it up and it's got the Blu-ray, the DVD, and I think specials or extra.
Willy Wonka is upside down, by the way.
Yeah. There.
That's nice. I like that.
It came in a big box.
I wonder if they're going to have any special packaging for the new film. It just released on streaming. You can purchase it and rent it on streaming, but I don't know if it's available in stores yet to purchase on physical media yet. I have to look for that, but
I definitely want to own it.
Yeah, I thought about buying it the other night. You could get the original and the new one, both digital, of course, on iTunes for $25. Yeah, I don't think we do have the original digitally. But we can also you can watch the original on Max. It is available on Max. So,
when did that happen?
Probably just after Wonka was released. I'm guessing they probably figured there'd be a lot of people who'd want to rewatch it, so they put it up there. That's my guess.
It had to have happened more recently because I looked
right
after I went because I saw it opening night
yeah. How many times have you seen Wonka? Twice. I thought you saw it 3 times.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, we went and watched Five Nights at Freddy's again. Because I wanted to go see it with Lisa in the theater. Then we watched Trolls, the band together.
I have no idea.
The third movie.
The animated. Yeah.
It's adorable. I really like those movies.
I have no interest in Trolls.
It's cute, and I love Anna Kendrick.
All right, whatever. Isn't Ozzy Osbourne in that?
Not the third one. He's in the second one.
I knew he was in one
World
of them.
Tour.
He's probably getting too old and he can't talk anymore, so they can't.
I mean, that fits the character he was.
I don't know. I didn't watch it, so.
And then on December 15th, we went and saw Wonka.
Oh, we forgot something. The original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is much more better than the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Cheers. I forgot to say that. Had to get that in there. All right. So let's just go into each of our spoiler-free breakdowns and our rankings. So we're using, what did we call it again? The hover chocolates. That's our ranking. All right. So the new film, I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I am not a fan of musicals. You can literally count my favorite musicals on one hand.
I do have a question.
Okay.
If I had not told you beforehand that it was a musical, would you have been surprised?
No.
Thank you.
No.
I've not understood that.
Well, as we say, save it for the podcast, save it for a little later in the podcast. But all right. So, like I said, you can count literally on one hand the musicals that I enjoy, very much enjoy, by the way. Number one being Spam-A-Lot, greatest musical of all time. Spam-A-Lot is incredible. I love Monty Python. Number two would be Young Frankenstein, which is for that matter, very fitting because Young Frankenstein, not the musical, but the original film, is Gene Wilder, and he's amazing in that movie. It's my all-time favorite Mel Brooks film. So when when I found out they did a musical of it, I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch that. Definitely.
We saw it at the Muni.
Yes, we did. It was incredible. Loved it. I would go see Young Frankenstein musical again for sure. And I would definitely see Spam-A-Lot. I've seen Spam-A-Lot twice and it was amazing. I got to see that at the Fox the first time. Your uncle and I went and seen it together, and then we saw it at the Muni also. So yeah. I forgot what I was saying. So those are my first two. Third would probably be Fiddler on the Roof.
Well, that was cool.
No, that's what I'm saying. I like.
No, there was a little like bubble.
Oh,
I think
what? I missed it.
Liked it on Facebook, and there was like a little like bubble.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that was new.
I completely missed that. No,
I love Fiddler.
Fiddler on the Roof is actually really good. Really interesting story. Really enjoy that. I like that one. Then I would probably say Oklahoma, and only because you actually were in Oklahoma in high school. So, and then what?
No, I wasn't. I was in Music Man.
Oh, was it Music Man? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I've never even seen Oklahoma.
Okay, I'm getting it confused then. It was Music Man. Yeah. Okay. I was getting good.
Too.
I don't know my musicals. Okay. So it's Music Man. All right. I stand corrected. So then Music Man. And I think that's it. And then I guess I can count Wonka now. And I guess I could count Willy Wonka, the original, too, because I do enjoy that. I never really considered a musical. I could see how it's considered a musical.
This one is definitely more of a musical.
Yeah, I agree. I think this one's more of a musical than the original was. But
it's fitting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. Totally. So, I felt that this was a good introduction to Willy Wonka. I thought it added a lot to his story. I liked seeing his beginning and seeing where he came from. He's not. I still think Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka is a little demented, and I think that's just years and years of being who he is. You know, it's taken his toll on him, and it's fitting. I think it fits fine. So you get to see how he is before, though, and how he's excited about, wanting to enter this world of being a chocolatier and everything. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film. It was well done. I felt it paid good homage to the original film.
Show me Easter eggs.
I don't hate the music in it. And again, I'm not a fan of all of a sudden in a movie you got a musical number in the middle of it. That drives me crazy. I'm very Homer Simpson when it comes to that. But it was fitting. It worked. It worked very well, and they do that in the original. So overall, I think I would give this 8 out of 10 floating chocolates, hover chocolates. Yeah, hover chocks. Or fizzy lifters.
That's the original.
So 8 out of 10. That's my score. All right. Your breakdown. Spoiler free.
The original is near and dear to my heart.
Obviously.
And nobody can replace Gene Wilder.
Agreed.
He will always have that top spot in my heart. However, I do adore this movie. And it is by far definitely one of my, it has skyrocketed in my list of like, I love these. I think I'm very glad that it seems to be a prequel to Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka.
And not a remake of Gene Wilder's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I can totally see, by his looks, he looks like he could be a young Gene Wilder, like a young Gene Wilder's version of Wonka with the curly hair and just, he looks like he could be a young Wonka based off of Gene's Wonka. The mannerisms, I mean, you see, I want to go into my Easter eggs. So one of the things, or some of the things that I've noticed and have seen other people point out, first of all, when he's, I don't know exactly where in the film it is, but he's going down steps and he does the thing that Gene Wilder does.
Yeah, you pointed that out when we were watching it, actually.
Because it's one of my favorite things about Gene Wilder. I don't know why, but that just, I don't know, it's entertaining.
It's been so long since I watched the original. I really don't remember that, but
it's ingrained in my brain.
I get it.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies. He does the scratch that, reverse it, although he messes it up. Which Gene Wilder also does. And then the other thing that was like the biggest Easter egg kind of is in the beginning, he starts the very like first song. He's talking about how he's excited and how he has 12, is it doubloons? No, that's part.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what the coins are called.
And it's been a couple weeks since I watched it, so.
But he has 12 coins. I don't know why the word doubloon stuck out in my head. It's not doubloons. That's a pirate term.
Well, Johnny Depp did play Captain Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow, yes. But anyway, he has 12 coins. And
oh, that's right, because he's paying everybody the coins. Oh, we're supposed to be spoiler free though.
That's not.
All right, fair enough.
So within the song, he ends up losing all of them. But the very last one, he drops into a storm drain.
Yes, I remember that.
And the style of the storm drain is the exact same style of the one that Charlie finds the coin that he buys the Wonka bar.
Oh, nice detail. Nice detail. At first, I thought you were going to say it's his exact same storm drain as it.
No. No, it's a nod to the original. But, so, those are some fun.
Hi, Willy. Charlie's down here. We all float down here. Do you think they were eating the chocolates and or drinking fizzy lifts and it?
I think Pennywise was giving them hover chocolates.
I mean, he said they all float, so we have a crossover here. It and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I think that might work. The Johnny Depp version might work.
I mean, if you think about it, except for in the original, you don't actually see them leave the factory.
All right.
In the Johnny Depp one, you do, but
and
in the original, you never see them.
And the brother's name in the It film is Charlie.
No, it's Georgie.
Oh, it's Georgie.
It's
Georgie, that's right.
Bill.
I was thinking Charlie for some reason. Oh well, we're gonna change it to Charlie. I think it makes sense. I like this idea. I like this. It's a part of my head canon now.
But I adore musicals. I absolutely love this movie. I going into it, I was determined to like it because I mean I don't know anything about Timothy Chalamet. I think he did fantastic though. The one who plays Wonka.
Yeah, he was the star of Dune also, which
Which I figured that out.
Here, I'll give you a quick review of Dune.
Which I figured that out.
Oh, sorry.
When we were watching it, when we watched it.
God, Dune's
because we got the
I hate that movie.
Trailer for Dune 2, and I was like, "Hey, wait a minute!"
Yeah.
I was like, "That's Wonka."
Hopefully, Dune 2 is more exciting than Dune 1. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I fell asleep trying to watch the original film, and then I fell asleep trying to watch this film.
Watch the remake.
And granted, yeah, I do fall asleep in a lot of movies anyway, but this was just because these movies were boring, not because I'm old.
But yeah, so my love of musicals, but
he was much more better in this. Cheers. Steven's gonna be laughing his butt off because Steven liked Dune. I hated Dune. I gave it a 0.
But I was determined to like it because I had seen so much like pre-hate for it.
I know. See, I've heard that, and I didn't understand that. Even Steven had brought up. He had brought up something about he had heard some hate. I really hadn't heard any news about it, whether people liked it or whether they didn't. And I was a little surprised when I watched it.
Most of my stuff comes from TikTok because that's where I saw most of the discussion about it, and everyone was blowing up because it's a musical, and it wasn't disclosed that it was a musical. I'm like, it's Willy Wonka. Of course, it's going to be some form of a musical.
I can't remember if the Johnny Depp has. I mean, of course, Johnny Depp has the Oompa Loompa songs. I mean, you can't have a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film without the Oompa Loompa songs. That's a given.
There's enough Oompa Loompa songs to classify it as.
But did he have? I don't think he had any songs though. Did he? I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched that one too.
It's been the longest. I watch that very rarely.
You used to like the Oompa Loompa dance though.
Oh, I like the Oompa Loompas in it.
Because I remember
the only thing I like.
I remember when we got you the DVD. There's the video of the Oompa Loompa dance, and you'd watch that.
It's because that's like the only thing I like from that one.
It's because Rob Roy was awesome. He really was. Or Deep Roy. Rob Roy. Deep Roy.
I don't know. I don't think Johnny Depp sings in that one.
I don't remember. I really don't. Anyway.
But I count it as a musical because there's enough of the Oompa Loompa songs within the time frame of the movie.
Okay, that's fair.
But like, so every iteration that we have has at least some form of music.
Right. True.
To think that a basically prequel wasn't going to have music in a singing form is just insane to me.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
I didn't get it. And
I was not surprised at all that there's music in this because, again, it's supposed to be a prequel to the Gene Wilder version, and his version has music all through it. So, yeah, whatever. Anyway.
So that's primarily what the pre-hate about it was. That, and there were people that were saying that that Gene Wilder would have been mad because he didn't think that there should have been prequels or sequels to it. But I think they did a great job.
Well, to quote Mr. Monk, because your mom and I have been watching Monk lately, to quote Mr. Monk, the internet people are just weird.
That's valid. But so I kind of went in wanting to love it anyway, and I was absolutely not disappointed. I didn't know what to expect, and I don't really know. I wouldn't know how to tell somebody what to expect with it.
Okay,
except
so
for-
what's your rating on this one?
I can't see.
You got to give it a number.
I know. I'm just explaining. I can't see a reason for me not to give it a 10.
Okay, fair enough. That's I figured you'd give it anyway. I give it an 8 just because it's a musical, and musicals are not my favorite, so I can't give it a 10 because of that. But no, and I understand. I understand it. I completely get it. That's part of Willy Wonka. I completely understand it. But that's just my reasoning behind it. But other than that, I think it's a good movie. I think it's fun to watch. If you're a fan of the Johnny Depp, yeah, definitely watch this. It's a great movie.
You mean Gene Wilder.
Yeah, that's not the Johnny Depp one. Sorry.
I
Yeah.
mean, even if you like,
If you're a fan of the
you should
Johnny
watch
Depp
it
one,
anyway.
you're probably one of the weird internet people. So I say that, and we're doing this on the internet, but does that make us the weird internet people? Gosh, I hope not.
in some form.
Mr. Monk would hate me anyway, so whatever. Anyway, so moving on we'll get on to our full review. Now you said that now at this point forward we will have spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers, stop here. As our friend from Nerdery and Murdery, Zig, would say, stop here. We'll wait. Okay, hold on. All right, now you went and seen it. Now you can continue. All right, so we go forward now. All right, so this movie, like I said, is a prequel to the Gene Wilder film from 1971. We see a young Willy Wonka, who is going to a city that's known for its chocolate and its chocolate shops, so on and so forth. And his dream is to open up a chocolate shop within that city because he thinks that he could really become,
I think it's
a famous
supposed to be
chocolatier.
London.
Yeah, I think it is supposed to be in London. I believe. I don't know. They didn't really. I don't think they really stated, but I think you're right. I think London fits that. It fits it very well. So then he gets to the city and discovers that it's pretty much controlled by chocolatier cartel. Yeah.
Which they call themselves the chocolate.
Yeah,
cartel.
they do call themselves the chocolate cartel, which is fantastic. It's just great. I mean, it's so fitting. It works so well. I loved it.
So it is set in a whimsical city that resembles a cross between London, Paris, and Prague.
There we go. Nice.
Prague.
Nice. So, see, the internet is good for some things. Anyway, so he finds out that the city is controlled by this chocolate cartel, and it's 3 specific chocolatiers. And the funny thing is, they all get a piece of his chocolate, and they all admit his chocolate is far superior
In secret.
Right, in secret. They don't. Yeah, they're not gonna say it out loud and let everyone know. But they all admit that his chocolate is much, much, much more better than theirs. Cheers. I'm making sure to get it in today. So they admit that his is much, much, much more better. And at that time they decide we have to get rid of him. We can't let him make chocolate because he's going to put us out of business. And they pay off the police, they pay off everybody. And then we find out that they're working with the woman who owns the hotel, which Willy stays at. And
later, when they find out that's where he's
right
trapped.
Oh, you don't think that they were working with her the whole time?
I mean, not technically.
Let's see. Now, wait a minute, because she's trapped. Like, what was it? 4 different people.
Only two of them have anything really to do with. I don't think that's.
Well, one of them was their accountant.
Yeah.
One of them was their accountant. So I think I think they're behind that because they wanted him put away because he could get them arrested and he could, show that they had two sets of books. They had the books with the real numbers, which were showing that, that they were on the take or they were paying out, to the police and so on and so forth. And then they had the fake books to, so on. So that was, I think they were behind her operation. They were helping her out the whole time. So, that was an interesting story and it was fun to watch him. He gets stuck into this, hotel because he signs a contract when he rents his room. And then she gives him what was it, a glass of champagne or
Gin.
Oh, gin. That's right. She gives. I should have got that as a Kiss fan. Gin, cold gin. Yeah, I should have. Anyway, so she gives him a glass of gin. She gives him like different little extras and stuff. And when he goes to check out, she's like, "Oh, and you owe I don't know something like $1 million, something
Like 10 grand.
something crazy, insane that it should not have cost him for one night or something like that.
Yeah.
One night. It was just nuts. And then so basically enslaves him and says you got to work off your debt and everything. And then that's when he discovers the other people who she's quote unquote enslaved and they're working off their debts. And then he comes up with these ideas, these schemes to get out of the hotel and during the day and try and sell his chocolate and so on and so forth. Which at first they don't want to help him with because they're afraid of her and they're afraid that she's going to catch him and stuff like that. And then eventually they kind of join forces with him. And I thought that was really good. I liked it. I liked the story behind it. I thought it was really cool. I liked all the characters that were with him. They were fun, whimsical characters. Yeah, I think they do a really good job with this.
I know my other nod to the original.
Sure.
So the machine that you mentioned, which is what he makes to quote unquote get someone to cover his shift, that someone being the dog.
Right. So they're having to wash all of the linen and stuff from the hotel, and he comes up with a machine to do the washing, and then they're all just like doing nothing the whole day.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So the machine that he creates, it is so similar to what we see as the process for making the gum, I believe. It's either the gum or the everlasting gobstopper.
Ooh, I love gobstoppers. Gobstoppers are awesome.
I think it's the gum.
When I was in high school, we actually had a little shop in the high school that you could go to between classes and purchase things, and it was actually run by the students too. So it was pretty neat. It was cool, and they had candy, they had T-shirts. I actually helped design one of the T-shirts because it was because I went to O'Fallon High School, so it was O'Fallon Panthers, and we did a kind of a take on the Hard Rock Cafe, but it was O'Fallon Panthers Rock or something like that. Anyway,
I mean, East had the Daily Grind, but that was only open in the mornings.
Oh yeah, this was open between each of the classes, so different students would have to take different shifts, and then they would, go run the store between their classes and stuff. And I think they got extra time to get to their class when they were scheduled to be in the store, stuff like that. At least that's the way I remember it anyway. But they had candies and stuff, and my go-to candy was gobstoppers. And back then, I don't like chewing gum now. I hate chewing gum now, but back then in high school, I liked chewing gum a lot. And I would have to buy, it was Hubba Bubba either blueberry or grape, which is funny because I hate grape now. I can't stand grape. I think it's nasty. But
Artificial grape is just gross.
yeah, but for some reason I liked Hubba Bubba grape bubblegum and Hubba Bubba blueberry bubblegum. They were amazing. So, but Gobstoppers was my normal go-to. I'd always buy Gobstoppers. And yeah, and they had the Willy Wonka logo on it and all that good stuff.
You know what I've always been disappointed about Gobstoppers? They were never the shape from the movie.
Well, yeah, they were huge in the movie.
Yeah, but I wanted, you could have at least made it the weird shape. But no, they're just boring circles or spheres.
But they taste good. And they're like a sweet tart when you get to the center. And I love sweet tarts. So, anyway.
Yeah, I think sweet tarts were also under. It's whatever that brand.
Yeah, sweet tarts. Yeah, I think sweet tarts were kind of under the Wonka label. Also, at one point, I think it was.
I miss the times of the Wonka brand.
Yeah, it'll probably come back. Who knows? I guess the movie wasn't big enough. Otherwise, we would have probably seen all of that stuff come back.
I would love that because I loved having the Wonka name on the Gobstoppers and the sweet tarts.
Although I don't think the Wonka bars taste as good as Hershey's, though.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just liked it for the Gobstoppers and the and the sweet tarts.
But you can still get Gobstoppers. Gobstoppers around. They're just not. I think they're just not under the Wonka label anymore.
The Wonka label doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
sadly.
Oh well, life moves on, I guess. Anyway, I forgot where we were at. So, Willy Wonka, he devises an invention so that him and his fellow captives don't have to work. And then they start helping him and plotting out ways for him to get his own shop. He opens up his own shop. And then the chocolatiers are very upset that he was able to do this. So they sabotage him and burn down his shop, which was...
Well, yeah. Well, they didn't burn it down.
Well,
but they sabotaged it.
Yeah, they sabotaged it and it burned down. So, and then he thinks his dream is destroyed at this point and he's pretty much, demolished. So on and so forth. And then he finally starts trying to sell his chocolate again. And then he gives the what were they called again? The chocolate, the
hover chocks.
Yeah, they give the hover choc. I don't know why that doesn't stick in my brain.
I don't know either.
The hover chocks to the three chocolatiers of the cartel. And they're floating up in the sky and everything. And then they kind of admit everything and so on and so forth. And that's how Willy ends up taking over and becoming who he becomes in the Gene Wilder film. So he just gave you the whole plot of the film. But I did say, go watch the movie, come back, so on and so forth.
Going along with me giving it a 10, and what I was saying about no one being able to replace Gene Wilder, that the original film will always have my heart. However, if they did make like another Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Timothée Chalamet as Wonka again, I would watch that.
Okay, let me ask you this. Would you watch it if it was an actual remake of the 1971 with Gene Wilder? Or are you saying you would like another film of him being Wonka, just a different story?
Either.
Okay.
I would watch either, honestly, because I really love his performance and I think that it was great.
Because I personally don't think it needs to be remade.
I don't think it does need. I don't think it needs to be.
Just like I would be highly upset if they remade Young Frankenstein, and there have been rumors of that too. I would boycott the crap out of that film if they remade Young Frankenstein. I would boycott the remake anyway.
If we got another like in between,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
that would also.
I think it'd be kind of cool to see how he's, here we got to see, how his beginning roots were and why, because he's inspired by his mother. We forgot to talk about that. His mother dies, and he's inspired by her because she made this fantastic chocolate, and he wants to become a chocolatier because of his mother and in her memory and so on and so forth.
He originally wanted to be a magician.
Yeah, he originally, which is why he could do all kinds of, right, makes him the whimsical chocolatier that he is. And I like that. That's a nice detail that was added in the prequel. They do a good job with that. So yeah, we see those beginning roots. Now you could, at that point, and we see the beginning of the shop, but we don't see the beginning of the factory. And I think that would be kind of cool if we got kind of an in between.
I mean, sort of.
Well,
They get the factory and when he's doing.
Yeah, we do because they show in the end, kind of the castle and
it's
so on
kind
and so
of
forth.
Yeah. He's singing Pure Imagination, and the Oompa Loompa is just like it's an old castle.
So that's something else we got to talk about. Oompa Loompas. So in this one we have who did I say? I'm trying to think of his name. Played the Oompa Loompa.
Hugh Grant.
Thank you. We had Hugh Grant play the Oompa Loompa. Oh man, I thought he did so good. I liked him so much. Fantastic Oompa Loompa. So fun. And it was funny because he was sabotaging Willy through the movie. And Willy Wonka would say, "Oh no, it was a little orange man with green hair that did it again." And everyone thought Willy Wonka was crazy. They're like, "There's no such thing as little orange man with green hair. You're nuts, And then finally they end up seeing him and they believe him and such. I thought he was great. I loved him. I also love the original Oompa Loompas. They're fantastic. And we already talked about Deep Roy a little bit. He's great. So if you had to rank the Oompa Loompas in order, this is going to be tough. I don't know. I don't know if I could do this. If you had to rank the Oompa Loompas in order, original Oompa Loompas, and I can't say names because those were played by many different little people.
They did a great job of making them look the same.
Yeah, they did. It was fantastic. It was just a great makeup job. And then Deep Roy, and then Hugh Grant. I know it is tough, isn't it?
Because I love all three.
I do too. I think all three did a great job.
I don't know. They're all tied for first.
Oh, see,
okay.
I think I'd have to put the originals at the top.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just because they're the originals.
Yeah.
And then I think Hugh Grant and Rob Roy, I think they tie each other.
Deep Roy.
Or Deep Roy. I don't know why I keep saying Rob. Yeah, it's Deep Roy. I think they tie each other. It's hard for me to put one over the top of the other because both of them did a fantastic job.
If I had to rank it, I would probably go the original Hugh Grant
and then Deep
Roy. Just because, not performance wise, but more based on looks. Because
okay, I can see
Hugh
that.
Grant looks almost identical. His version of the Oompa Loompas looks almost identical to the original, and I love
right. And I think there's a reason for that too.
I mean, getting that it's supposed to be a prequel for
right
Genes, but
where
the show you how well they did it.
Right, and the Johnny Depp movie, it was trying to separate itself from the original film, So they wanted Deep Roy to look like an Oompa Loompa, but they kind of wanted to give him his own thing,
Right.
But that does not take away from his performance at all. His performance is fantastic. He does a great job.
That's why I say for like performance, no, they're all tied for first. Because I adore every iteration. But like I said, that's pretty much the only thing I like about.
I think that's fair rating. All right. So if you had to rank the movies, I know it's on the bottom. Easily.
It's going to be the same order.
Okay.
It's going to be Gene Wilder's. It's going to be Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory at the top, Wonka, and then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay, I agree with that order too. I would go with that also. So, yeah.
That's an easy one.
Agreed. All right. Anything else we want to cover? Because I think we're getting to the end of the show and we need to wrap it up here. We're a little bit over time, so which is great because I wasn't sure if we'd have enough to talk about.
I could talk about Wonka forever.
True.
I love.
So, anything else you want to say? Final words for Wonka.
I definitely want to own it in both physical and digital. I need to go rewatch the original because I, for some reason, still haven't done that since I've seen the new one. I adore this movie.
Now, would you recommend that people, because you can still see it in the theaters right now?
Watching it in the theaters, absolutely.
Okay.
And if you have a 4D one, go see that because it's fun.
Oh my gosh. I've never seen a movie in 4D, so I
don't know how much you can call it 4D, at least in the sense that I'm used to it. Because
so is it in 3D also?
No, not the one that I saw. I haven't seen it in any 3D.
Yeah, because I think 3D is now a thing of the past.
So
I think it's went away.
I'm wondering if it was supposed to, like, I don't know. But when I went and saw it in Canada, the theater that we went to had I think it was called 4D, but I don't exactly remember. But the chairs moved, and
wild.
It had the motion chairs that moved with things. It lifted and like rocked back and forth. Like when they were on the boat, the seats were going back and forth. And
see, I'd like to see a Star Wars movie like that.
That would be cool.
The trench run like that would be freaking amazing. Yeah.
And like supposedly there was a blast of chocolate scented air. I didn't smell chocolate. I didn't smell anything. I felt the blast of air, but didn't smell anything.
So you had smell-o-vision.
Yeah, kind of.
Or
supposedly. Lisa swears up and down that she smelled chocolate.
Really?
I didn't smell anything.
I don't know what smells you'd smell in Star Wars. That might be a little, especially the Jabba Hutt scene. I could just, I think he'd smell nasty.
So like the
slimy had, giant slug.
Every other aspect of 4D except for the fact that the movie wasn't in 3D, which I'm okay with because I don't like 3D movies.
I'm not the biggest fan of 3D movies.
They give me headaches.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad that did not become as big a thing as they thought it was going to be.
It was big for a while.
Although it was fun, we did get to see Phantom Menace because they were going to re-release the original films before George Lucas sold the franchise to Disney, and he was working on 3D releases of all the original films, all the 6 original films. And Phantom Menace did make it to the theaters, and we did see that. And I gotta admit, the pod racing scene in 3D, that's pretty freaking amazing. I enjoyed. See, there's like some aspects of films that, I think would be great in 3D. I think the trench run in the original Star Wars would be amazing in 3D, or probably the Hoth scene fighting the AT-AT walkers. That would be pretty amazing. But the whole movie in 3D, nah, I'm just not interested. Sorry.
How do you do it? It gives me headache.
All right. So overall, we both enjoyed this film very much. I gave it an 8. Megan gives it a 10. I highly recommend this film, especially if you're a fan of the Gene Wilder version of Charlie and the or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I think it's a great addition to the story, sets it up really well. It would be fun to watch them back to back, so we might have to do that soon. All right, with that said, Steven's not here to do all the stuff that he does. You can always check us out on wait a minute. I'm trying to find his thing for Amazon or for the books. Gosh, I don't know where he gets that. Yeah, for Audible. Do you know where that's at? I have no idea. There we go. All right. I know Willy Wonka is not really a book. I mean, there is a book. Yeah, there's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't know if there's an Audible version of it. I have no idea. I probably should have done some homework on that.
Which sings?
Maybe. I don't know. It could be. Anyway, so you could go look for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on Audible. If not, there's thousands and thousands of titles to choose from on Audible, and you can get a free, I think it's 2-week trial. If you use our little thing there at the bottom of the screen, you can get your free trial, get your free book. You get a free audio book with that, and they'll throw us a couple. What was the money that Willy Wonka had?
I still don't know.
They'll throw us a couple of his coins or something if you do that, and that's much appreciated. I don't remember. I don't remember if it was shillings or what. That would be much appreciated if you would help us out like that. And
sovereigns.
There we go. They'll throw us a couple sovereigns. So. Just to go along with the theme of the show today. All right. And with that said, make sure and go like us on both Facebook and YouTube. Give us the thumbs up on Facebook. I post a lot of memes over there. I do some news items every once in a while and just try and general funny stuff, and also announcements of upcoming shows and so on and so forth. So give us a like over there on Facebook. Make sure and like and follow us on YouTube, and give the bell a tickle. If you do that, you will be reminded every time we go live. And speaking of live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math because I don't like math. All right. With that said, I'm trying to think of an outro line for the movie. Shoot. I should have looked up lines from Willy Wonka, but I didn't think of anything. I don't know. Just go have a gobstopper, I guess. Over and out, and may the force be with you.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,